In the last video, we took a look at the Chrome developer tools and how we can preview our website on different size devices. Currently, if we take a look at our website in a smaller smartphone size, we can see that it looks just like a normal desktop view, but zoomed out to fit all the content on the screen. When we covered the basic structure of a web page earlier in the course, we talked about using meta tags, which we can add in the head section to add some additional information about our site. In this video, we'll be looking at a new tag called the viewport meta tag. This is important for responsive design. If we don't have this viewport meta tag in place, as we've seen in the last video and just now, smaller devices will render our page at the desktop size, but then scale to fit the screen. This is so users do not have to keep scrolling across the page to see all the content. This viewport tag gives us control of how we want our pages to appear. We add it just like any other meta tag which we've used. So just under this first meta tag, we can open up a new one, but this time give it a name equal viewport, and then close that off. If we give that a save, and then go over to the browser and refresh, we see our preview doesn't look any different than it did before we added this tag. For any changes to take effect, we need to set the width we want our content to be. So let's go over to our meta tag and add the content attribute. And then we can set the width to be equal, let's say 300 pixels. So now if we save that and then reload, we can see by this white browser section from the left there to this right part that this content is now being set to 300 pixels. We can also see that after this right hand side, these products are outside of this width because they get a fixed size and they can't stretch or shrink depending on the screen size. So the browser will still need to zoom out to fit in all these products. Setting a fixed size like this is generally discouraged because of the many variants in screen sizes. Therefore, we can go back over to the meta tag and then change this. Rather than having the width equal a fixed size, we can set this to be equal to the device width. And make sure that these are all between the quotations. Doing this not only covers us for different screen sizes, but also for when a device is rotated too. Also, if we do not want the browser to zoom out to see the rest of the products which have overflown, we can set the initial scale to be equal to 1. So still in between the quotations, we can add a comma and then set the initial scale to be equal to 1. Give that a save, reload the browser, and if you don't see any changes, you may need to close the developer tools down and then go back in for this to take effect. Okay, there we go. So now the content is cut off the edge because the browser is no longer zooming out to display all the contents. Also, as a side note, some phones will keep the same width when rotating and zoom out rather than allowing the content to reflow to the new size. Setting the initial scale will also help with this. This sets the zoom level when the page is first loaded, but will still allow the user to zoom if required. The main thing to remember is that we should always include this tag in our projects. This is because if we do not set the content width, the mobile browser will assume that you have a desktop screen size, somewhere around 980 pixels wide, depending on the device, and that you want the full page to display, so it will zoom out, making things look really small. Including this viewport meta tag will also allow our media queries to work correctly too, later in this section. We still have this problem of the products though, because they are set using pixel sizes, which is a fixed size, meaning they are cut off the edge of the screen, but we'll begin to look at relative sizes in the next video, which will help with this.